Hi everyone, I'm Ellen Berman. This week I am sharing discussion leader responsibilities with Anna Goldberg. The topic for this week is caring for the children we share. The article that is featured by Andrea for this week is by Joyce L. Epstein, and it is entitled School, Family, Community Partnerships, Caring for the Children We Share. This article, which was released in 1995, at that time was completely groundbreaking because Epstein was the first person who was really taking a systematic approach as to how to bridge the gaps between families, communities, and schools. She created a framework called the Framework of Six Types of Involvement. You will learn more about that as you read the article, but there are six different areas of involvement that bridge these gaps between parents, families, and communities. And she also thinks about what some of the challenges to these activities might be, as well as what are the potential outcomes. When I was reading her article, I thought it was excellent, but I also wanted to have some more kind of meat and potatoes, fleshed out ideas about how to accomplish bridging these gaps. So when I was looking for an article, I chose one by an organization called CADRA, Consortium for Appropriate Dispute Resolution in Special Education. While I hadn't been specifically looking for a special ed article, I do find that special ed good practices are just plain old good practices in education, and I think you'll be as impressed as I was at the amount of wonderful information in this article that I'm providing you. It's actually a source book entitled Educating Our Children Together, a source book for effective family, school, community partnerships, and it was written by Suzanne Carter back in 2003. The source book is quite large, but I think you will find it a wonderful resource that you'll just want to download and keep. It's 108 pages, but the required reading from this is a much smaller portion, which you will see as you get into the assignment. The challenge for you this week is to think about how would you take some of the ideas from Epstein and from the Cadre source book and apply them in your own Jewish community. So for me, I decided that as a fifth grade Hebrew homeroom teacher, I spend a lot of time talking to my own parents of my kids where they might have questions on how to best support their child's Hebrew reading, practicing, chanting practicing at home. And since I am the chanting specialist for Hebrew school, I have no problem with speaking to them to give them some suggestions that'll allow them to mirror the practices that I use in the chanting room at home so that the children get a consistent message in both places. What occurred to me is if I were the Jewish educator, I would be proactive and actually create some sessions in the beginning of the year so that parents from any of the grades in Hebrew school could actually sign up for a session if they would like to learn more about how to support their child's reading at home and to have the opportunity to ask me questions directly. So in that way, what I thought I was accomplishing is not only would I be helping the students with their at-home reading and have them more likely be successful in their practicing at home, but also I was sparing the parents any kind of embarrassment they might have had, thinking, well, maybe I'm the only parent who doesn't know how to help their kid. And we know that that's not true, but that would be a barrier to them reaching out to us. So by being proactive and creating sessions where they can learn, that takes away the shame factor and gives them access to me, which they would not necessarily think they had. The other part that I took away from the Epstein article is she mentions that when you do something positive in any one of the areas of the six types of involvement, you don't know how that may affect another area of involvement. So let's say parents did take one of my sessions and they felt very comfortable and successful in the way they helped their children at home, that some of those parents might consider volunteering for me in my chanting room, which I desperately need. And by doing that, not only would they be helping me and making more of a connection to community, they may end up making more friends with other families, with other parents, and building more of a community so that in the long run, after their kid is bar or bat mitzvah, they're more likely to stay in the community because they have friends and a vested interest in being there. So as we think about what kinds of things we can implement in our own community, think about how some of these things could go even further. How, from a Jewish lens, we think about mitzvah goreret mitzvah. One mitzvah begets another. And think about how the mitzvah of reaching out to parents in one way could eventually land in another area as another mitzvah for the family, for the community. So these are the challenges that I have for you this week, and I look forward to discussing them with you on our message board.